What's it like when you call some run plays and you pull and there's no one for you to block? What's that?
It was pretty awesome. Great play design by Coach Moorhead, and fortunately there was no one for me to block, and I could just lead him into the end zone. Hats off to Coach Moorhead. He knew what they were going to run, and we designed a good play to get CJ in the end zone.
How rare is that? Like, does that even happen in practice?
No, because they wanted to give us the most difficult look possible in practice. So Coach Mirabal had coached those scout guys to come up and be right there for me to block. And in the game, they didn't crack replace like we thought they would, and so it just kind of ended up being like that.
I was just gonna say, how much does that preparation then? Do you feel like it paid off in that game?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Getting the hardest look in practice is the best way to have it, because then if it's different in the game, it's an easy adjustment, and so I think that's just kind of what happened for us.
Seems like one of your strengths, would you say, is as a puller on those run plays with your size and athleticism and speed?
Yeah. I think pulling is definitely one of my strong suits. I'd say I'm one of the faster linemen, so I think that's to my advantage when I can get on the run like that.
It didn't seem like, as you said, you didn't have a lot of opportunities to make contact, but you did have a couple where you did. What's it kind of feel like when you make that contact and CJ's coming behind you?
It's good. Anytime you can open up a running lane for the running back, that's your job as offensive lineman, so you look forward to that opportunity.
From week 1 to week 2, the offensive line arguably made the biggest jump in improvement. Was there anything on tape that you guys saw from yourself against Fresno State that you knew that you had to correct going into Ohio State?
Sure. We took the positives from Fresno State because there were some things we did well against Fresno State, and we built off of those. And then, we made a lot of corrections. That's one of Coach Mirabal's biggest strong suits is he can look at our issues and pinpoint them and say, okay, here's what we have to do in practice in order to improve on those things. And we really hit those hard all week in practice. Had a great week of preparation, and we went out and did it on Saturday.
You've been around this program in this city longer than pretty much anybody here. The significance of this win, do you feel like you maybe understand that better than everybody else, or what's your perspective?
I would say it's the most fun win I've been a part of since I've been at Oregon. It was most meaningful for me because I was out there playing this time, and so it was a lot of fun. It was a great team win, and it was an awesome experience altogether.
Cristobal then mentioned on Monday the importance of moving on, and how you guys respond from this will decide if you're truly one of the elite teams or just a great team. How do you guys move on from such a monumental win?
Next week, next man up, next opponent. You just got to move on. We say you get 24 hours to enjoy the win. You come in on Sunday, you're 0-0. You look at the film, you correct what you can, and then you move on to the next opponent. By 2 o'clock, we're already looking at Stony Brook's film on Sunday. So, you enjoy the win after it happened, and then you flush it, and you're on to the next.
Cristobal mentioned that when they watched the film, there was a lot of stuff to fix on both sides of the football. For your group specifically, what do you improve on when you play so well like that?
There was a few plays where if we finish a block, we split them again like we did on the one big run, and so it's just hat placement, running your feet through contact, doing things like that, and we can maybe split a couple more runs and open up the game a little bit more.
You said that was your most fun win here. Was that your most fun plane ride back? Because it's a long flight and probably a lot of time to think and hang out about that stuff.
Yeah. It was a fun ride back. Everyone was music was going, we were celebrating, and so it was a lot of fun.
It's one thing for the offensive line to kind of get your job done and open up running holes, but you also have to have a backfield that can hit the holes and finally score the touchdown. So what can you say about Verdell and kind of the lead for explosion that he's had so far this year?
Yeah, I'd say CJ and Trav are 2 of the best backs in the country, and they make us look better than we are sometimes, and I think you saw that on Saturday. And we can open up a hole and they can make a guy miss and turn a good run into a great run, and so that's what makes those guys 2 of the elite backs in the country.
What's allowed Dawson to start playing the time? He plays. I don't think he played any snaps in 2020 and 3 in just 2019, and now he's in there in 4 quarters.
Yep.
What's just his development been like?
He's just been an elite preparer, and he had a pretty bad knee injury in 2019, and so he was coming back from that, and his preparation to get to this point has just been one of the best of the O-line, and he just kept developing, and Coach Mirabal was on him, and Coach Mirabal knew he was going to be one of the guys this year, and so he just kept preparing him to do that, and Dawson kept preparing like he was going to be one of the guys, and he had a good camp, and then he's gone out and done it on Saturdays now.
Your time out there when the majority of the offensive line are Oregon natives, when Dawson's in there with Alex and you, does that mean something to you guys, the pride just being in-state kids?
Yeah, I think a little bit. We all grew up watching the Ducks, wanted to be Ducks, and so to go out there and actually do it for the Oregon Ducks is pretty special for all of us Oregon guys, I think.
When you see Johnny do what he did, but also Chris on the last conversion to DJ, staying the right distance and everything else, you're watching the film and seeing the receivers do their part. What do you say to that?
I think it's just definition of a team effort. There was a few I don't know if Johnny even caught a ball on Saturday. I mean, he might have caught one, but he was out there making critical blocks on huge plays, to spring CJ, and he's cracking linebackers, and he's going in there and throwing himself around, and that's what makes up a great team, is when guys are willing to be selfless and go do that, even when they're not catching passes. And so I think Johnny's the definition of a selfless team leader kind of guy, and we saw it on Saturday.
Christopher said yesterday that Johnny might have had the best block on the team, and that offensive lineman might have been a little bit jealous. Is that true?
Oh, I mean, it was a great block. The one where Travis scored on going to the left, and he came down and cracked that linebacker. That was a phenomenal block, and Johnny's not afraid to go throw himself in there, and we love that about him. That gets us going when we see that. So, you could say I don't know if we're jealous, but it was definitely a great block.
You guys ran that unbalanced set a lot, ran a lot, and also obviously on the conversion to DJ there at the end. I realize it's more for the receivers in terms of their unique responsibilities. Walk me through just from your own mindset when you guys are running something where you made it work very well.
Yep.
And you did it last season with a different look with a lot of the Travis throws against Cal and stuff. When you understand the game as you do, just how Joe has been able to incorporate that into the offense strategically.
Yeah, as I've said before, I think Coach Moorhead is one of the greatest offensive minds in college football right now, and so he's able to see things and see what advantages we're going to have on unbalanced looks, and we go over that a lot in film, and Coach Mirabal really hits where they're going to be lined up, how they're going to play it, and then we just got to go out and execute it. We prepare all week doing those things, going against those looks, and so at the end of the day, Saturdays we can just go out and execute.
From an upfront perspective, can you explain that 77-yard touchdown run, why CJ basically went untouched? Like, what were the offensive line's responsibilities, and how did you execute it so well?
So we knew it was a split flow zone play, and we knew the tight end was coming backside, so we knew the way the linebackers play, they were going to flow back gap with the tight end split flow. So we had to plus over to one linebacker, and that's why you see me. I go with Alex all the way to the front side backer 14 on that, and then I think they were in some kind of blitz or something, because the middle linebacker came backside B gap, and Steve did a great job of not just running through blindly, and he turned back on it. And that was what allowed that play to split, was Steve put a stake in that defense, and that's what really opened it up for us.
What was the emotional roller coaster for Cam when he catches it? It's a big first down, everyone celebrates, and he doesn't get back up.
That was heartbreaking. I was fired up when I saw him catch that pass, and then I saw him not get up, and your heart drops for him. It's an awful feeling. He's worked so hard to get back, and now he's out again, and your heart goes out to him. You feel for him, but I also know he's one of the toughest guys on this team. He's one of the most mentally tough people I've ever been around, and so I know he's going to bounce back from this, and he'll come back stronger than he was.
As much as you guys accomplished last year, Ryan, where does last Saturday feel? I don't want to say like satisfying, so I'm going to put words in, but you guys were, as an offensive line, none of you were that highly decorated. Obviously, there's JUCO transfers and stuff, but you're not the most decorated recruits.
Yeah.
You had your senior year in injury. You went up against guys who, many of them will be hearing their names called in April.
Yep. I've said it a couple times as a joke to our own guys. We're probably one of the most ragtag groups of offensive linemen in the country. You got JUCO transfers, you got walk-ons, and we just come together and we play for each other. And sometimes when we execute, we play pretty well. And so I think just going out there and playing with that chip on our shoulder, which I think is what we did pretty well this week. And we said it going into the game, nameless, faceless opponent. You go and someone's going to be lined up in a 3 technique, someone's going to be lined up in a nose shade. Go out and execute your blocks. We got a chance to be successful.
A couple of you guys obviously have earned nicknames from Toolbox, and I'm sure like grandfather for George and walkie-talkie and stuff. So what's TJ and Steven and Sala?
I don't know if TJ has a nickname just because he's so quiet and he's just kind of there. But Sala, he likes to go by Sala the Beast. That's what Sala's favorite thing to go by. Big Steve, Big Grizz, that's kind of the nicknames, I guess.